the problem of man not being able to sort out things properly. So we have desires which by themselves are okay. The desire for physical pleasure, for psychological pleasure, for spiritual pleasure, all are there, and each of them are necessary. But because physical pleasures come to us first, and they have the power of urging us, which everyone feels, rather than a spiritual pleasure which not everyone feels in the first moment. So we need to be a little bit patient. We have a beautiful saying which says that the path towards heaven is initially starting with difficulties, but later becomes easy. But the path towards hell initially is very enjoyable. You please yourself by doing those things that you like, but then it becomes difficult. Like a student. A student who has exam, he can enjoy himself by watching a game or playing or going to cinema and forget studying. But if he is patient and studies, then he will have better pleasure. So, is it bad that I have this desire for physical needs or for example, pleasure? No, it's not bad, but you have to be just able not to let this preoccupy all your mind and attention so that there remain no place for the other desires. So my understanding is that we don't have any physical desire which overpowers the desire for spirituality and for being good. And I believe that all the desires that we have in their origin, they are all necessary and good, and we have just to find out the right order and the right balance so that they all serve us in our path towards God and
Thank you. I'd like to ask a related question to that has to do with your comments on human weakness. And the simple version of my question is human weakness a good thing, or is it a bad thing? Or maybe indifferent? And the reason I ask that is because it seems when you were talking that weakness is so closely associated with insufficiency, and which allows for the possibility for us to understand ourselves as creaturely beings that are open to God, who can fill us and give us our full self-understanding. On the other hand, human weakness can be an excuse. It can simply say, well, we're weak. So in one sense it's a good thing, and the other is a bad thing. Could you comment a little more on that?
You mean physical weakness or spiritual?
No, spiritual and physical weakness, but incompleteness or lack of self-sufficiency.
Of course, to recognize that we are weak, I think is the starting point, and I think it's a very important step towards perfection. If we don't feel that we are weak and we are imperfect, then we will be happy with what we already have. So it's important to recognize that we are weak. But something comes with that is that this is not our necessary destiny. We are created weak, but we are given opportunity to become strong. But the strength comes when we are connected to God. So when God grants from His glory and strength to a person who has get rid of his selfishness and has forgotten his ego. So, to begin with, we have to start our weakness, but we can aspire towards strength and perfection which lie with God the Almighty.
Thank you.
Yes.
I very much appreciate your paper. Every point your numerical based discussion, really a provocative paper, very insightful. You talk about God imparting His Spirit in command, and in this very interesting comment here, there is a spiritual element in human beings which is so valuable that God attributes it to Himself. Of course, God has no spirit, so that it can be given to man. It is to honor the Spirit that God so forth. So God has no spirit, and yet he attributes his spirit to man. What does this mean? In what sense does God impart his spirit? And then in what sense does God have no spirit? I'm not quite following here.
God doesn't attribute his spirit to man. God attributes man's spirit to himself. So God has no spirit, but he has created a spirit for man. But he says, this spirit is my spirit. And this is to honor. We have in Arabic what we call al-idafa al-tashrifiyya. Sometimes we attribute something to someone just to honor that. So, for example, as I said, when we say Kaaba is the house of God. God has no house, but this is to honor Kaaba. So God says among all different places, there is a special affinity, a special relation between this place and me. So I call him my. Or for example, God says that human beings are my people. So it means that among my creatures, there is a special relation. Although everything is my creation, but these are my creation in a special sense. All about the days. So God has no spirit because we believe that God is simple. God is absolutely simple. Even God has no quiddity in contrast to existence. Muslim philosophers have made it very clear that God even is free from quiddities. Perfect, absolute being. You cannot bring anything else to it because then it will limit and restrict God. So he has no spirit. He has created for us a spirit, but he so much values this spirit that he says, I am giving my spirit to honor.
The Bible also says that God breathes his spirit, and then the Genesis passage we'll talk about this later. God and man created in God's image.
Yeah.
I've often thought that the Qur'an references to God breathing spirit to man may have some convergence with the biblical understanding of image of godness about breathing his spirit. But I'm hearing you say, no, there's not a convergence there.
I think there are similarities, but maybe not exactly the same. Because for us it's very important to still hold the simplicity of God, that we don't want God to be a compound being. So God is simple, and a spirit, in the sense that we use, which is in contrast to body, cannot apply to God. But definitely there are some elements in human being which manifest some aspects of God's perfection. And this is why God, among other creatures, says that his spirit has been given to man. So those similarities maybe are something that in the biblical language you put it in that way, that you said God has created man in the image of himself.
Professor Schumann? Thank you very much for your paper. Well, I guess my question is one of expansion. You mentioned that many of these points could be for a whole day. And so my question is, I'm interested in hearing more about where you put, under the bad qualities, that man is inquisitive. And I'm wondering how, and given your comments about reason and revelation, that the internal prophet, that was a very, very interesting way to put it. And I'm wondering, how would you describe the relationship between being curious, being inquisitive, and reason, and kind of that whole issue? Thank you.
Thank you. It's a very beautiful question. In Aristotelian ethics, which is very much welcomed by many Muslim ethicists, they say that we have different faculties. And one of the faculties that human beings have is the faculty for rationality, the rational faculty. So they say that when you strike the balance, that is wisdom. But if you go to extremes, that is where the problem starts. So what are the extremes? The extremes are either to accept everything without reason, or accept nothing even if there is a strong reason. You have to find a balance. So man sometimes has this tendency that doesn't accept things even if there are good reasons for that. This is the problem. The Quran says, وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانُ أَكْثَرَ شَيْءٍ جَدَلًا. Man loves to dispute and debate, even if it is clear. Of course, not that necessarily you have to be like this. But sometimes we just question things because we don't want to accept. And this is the difference that we have in the Quranic terminology between rape and shak. Sometimes there's genuine doubt. Sometimes I enjoy to doubt. I want to doubt. So, if we seek reasons for accepting something, this is quite rational and this is wise, and this is what we actually have to be. But if we don't accept, even if there are good reasons, this is the problem. So man has tendency towards this. Avicenna has two beautiful things which are very nice, and I always remember these two things, and I hope to be always in my mind to follow. He says that whenever you hear something and you don't have ability to prove it or disprove it, leave it somewhere so that maybe in future you find some way to make a correct judgment about that. This is one point. Another point, he says that whoever used to accept things without reason, whoever is used to accept things without reason, he is no longer a human being. Because a human being must not accept something unless there is a reason for that. So if we accept things without reason, this is the problem. So we are not saying that man is bad because he's curious or wants reason. No, we are saying that there is a tendency in man that may continue questioning while there are enough evidence there. This is the problem. Thank you.
Well, we do have time, perhaps, for one more question. Maybe if there's no other question. Yes, please.
Yeah. It is not almost question. It could be kind of comment. Thank you, Dr. Shomali, for your very enlightening paper. To me, the discussion of humanology in Islam must begin from the question of whatness of the nature of human being, because this is one of the hard points in all religions. What is the quality of human nature? Good or bad? Or mute? Something in between. It is very interesting that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Qur'an against this idea that you need to be able to differentiate between two types of zeroness. It's very interesting. You need to be able to differentiate between two types of zeroness in human nature. Human being, at the beginning, they are all located at the point of zero. But we have two types of zero: mathematical zero and philosophical ontological zero. Human beings are not located mathematically at the point of zero, because zero is nothing. Human beings are not nothing, they are something. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, in chapter the sun, الشمس ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها. A surah to human soul. To human soul, and the one who has managed this soul in a particular way of being. And what is that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created just two types of tendencies. Tendencies to good and bad. These tendencies in Islamic philosophy are called potentiality, because in Islamic philosophy they have divided existence into two types. Something which exists and something which is going to exist, to be perfect. the actualized existence and potential existence. Potential existence is different than nothingness. So, human beings, in terms of their soul, are located at the point of zero. At the beginning, when we enter to choose, to use our willingness, okay? We are nothing. Good or bad. It could be this, it could be that. This is called philosophical ontological zeroness, which is different than zero in math. So, in knowing human being, it would be better to soul, to elaborate this point. But what do you think about human nature at the beginning? Good or bad, or somewhere in between? This is first. And second, I would like myself, of course this is my own opinion, not to go by masculinizing the language of the Holy Quran. I prefer not to say man in the Holy Quran. When we say man, we're masculinizing the language of the Holy Quran. While Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created both men and women, both as human beings. So instead of man in the Holy Quran, it would be better to say human being or humankind, not man. Because in this way we are putting the language of the Quran in the form of masculine. And third point, with regard to division of the qualification of human being and dividing it into bad and good, we need to be very careful not to put value judgment. None of the qualifications or attributes of human being are bad in its value statement. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put all in ontological zeroness. It's not bad in form of value judgment. They are us. We are this. It with us. We can do nothing. But we have the way to fall. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator, but potential being. And we are the creator of our destiny and our personality. And I believe, human qualification, we need to begin with free will.
Thank you, Dr. Shomali. Our time has come to an end for this paper. Thank you very much, Dr. Shomali, for your presentation. We will now take a 5-minute stretch break. Don't go away. We are going to start again in 5 minutes, wherever you are. So.